Hello, my lovely client. You are seeing my face, so you know what time it is. It is time for our quarterly check in with the Money Coach. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about everything that happened in the first quarter, January, February, and March of 2026. Also, to give you just some tips and tricks to brace yourself and prepare for quarter two of 2026. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, guys, so here is the TLDR in case you don't watch the full video or your attention span just won't allow you to stay for this whole thing. No problem. Here are the things that I want you to remember regarding quarter one. We're going to ride the wave when it comes to our finances and stick with our long-term investment strategy, understanding that we definitely need to build up emergency savings, reduce debt, making sure that we are controlling our costs and our spending as much as we can. If that means we need to get on budget billing or reduced payment so that we can keep our bills that are variable in a predictable place, do as best as we can with these rising variable costs. Going into quarter two, understand that rates will probably not be going down anytime soon, so the cost of borrowing is more expensive. Also, understand that we need to not live in isolation and not live on an island. Make sure that you are reaching out to people in your community and people around you and being able to build trust and community, especially in times of economic uncertainty. Okay, guys, so as part of this quarterly check-in and all future quarterly check-ins going forward, I am going to make sure that I share with you guys the Primerica newsletter. And I think they're really great because, first of all, it gives you something tangible to hold on to and look back to throughout the quarter for things for you to focus on. But it also is able to just give you some really great reminders. So I wanted to make sure I highlight some of the things on this quarter's solutions newsletter. So guys, if you've been watching the news lately, you've probably felt a mix of confusion, concern, or maybe even a little bit of fear about just where the economy is heading, right? So I want to start by saying this. You're not crazy for feeling that way, but also everything is not falling apart, okay? What we're experiencing right now is just transition. Okay, so let's simplify things. Right now, the economy is doing three things at the same time. It's being outpaced by wages, cost of living. We know that things aren't keeping up, right? It's reactionary to news. We know that there's a lot going on globally with the economy right now, and it seems like every headline, every tweet, every truth social ends up making huge waves in the markets and in the economy. And then lastly, we see that it is slowly transforming, right? With the introduction of things like AI and just the job market being as slow as it is to hire, we're seeing these three things happening simultaneously. So let's talk about what you're probably feeling right now in real life in your real pockets. We know that money just feels tighter right now, and there are three main reasons. Interest rates are still high. The Federal Reserve is looking like they're not going to be lowering interest rates until later this year. So what that means is the cost of holding on to debt is more expensive. Your dollars aren't stretching as far. So that means credit cards, loans, and everyday borrowing just feels heavier. So in this newsletter, we have a few things that we are going to focus on. First, how to dodge the top 5 debt traps. Here are the things that you should watch out for. One is low minimum payments. Make sure that you pay off your debt every month on the credit card because then it doesn't get out of hand. But even if that is not a strategy that you can utilize right now, make sure that you don't go in the door excited about, oh, my minimum payment is this, when in reality that keeps you in debt for longer. 2, overly generous offers. I hear people all the time so excited about, oh, but the first year is 0 interest, especially when it comes to things like Klarna and Affirm and all the little buy now, pay laters that offers you 0 interest for a certain period of time. Just know that this is a strategy that they are intentionally employing to get you in the door, get you spending money, and then get you in the debt cycle trap, okay? Number 3, introductory APRs. This is really important when we're looking at especially high yield savings accounts. High yield savings accounts sometimes attract you with all these amazing, oh, well, in the beginning, you can get 3.5%, 4%. All of this sounds amazing, but then you don't realize that within 6 to 8 months, that rate is coming back down. Or unless you put a certain amount in that account, you don't get to experience that rate. So just make sure that you're reading the fine print, especially when it comes to those high yield savings accounts and when it comes to credit cards. They're offering you something in the beginning, but then later down the line it changes. Also, on that note, let's talk about late fees. We know that late fees can hit you when you least expect it, right? So make sure that to the best of your ability, you pay things on time, set a reminder in your phone, add it to the calendar. The late fee, the overdraft fee, the extra fees here and there, they do add up. Also, punitive APRs and hidden fees. So that means one late payment, one missed payment, and now your APR is something different. So make sure you just pay attention to these debt traps, the things that keep you stuck in those loops. And again, you want to focus on right now getting out of debt as quickly as possible and not accumulating more debt. If you have a dream of maybe getting a new car, getting a new house, getting a business loan, okay, I understand. This might not be the time to do it. You might want to wait until later in the year when those rates come down. That might be a better time for you to. So for right now, you need to be utilizing a strategy of having a separate account that is a sinking fund to pay down your debt. If you don't know what I mean by that, set up a check-in with me and I will explain all of that and how it works. But most importantly, paying down credit card debt. If your student loans have come out of forbearance and now you have student loan payments, making sure that you're paying the minimum amount but paying it on time. Okay, making sure that when it comes to debt, you have a very focused strategy on eliminating that debt as quickly as possible and not acquiring more debt at this time. Now, inflation is down from what it was towards the end of last year, but we know that due to the cost of living, due to gas prices and all these things going up, we're still feeling the effects of our dollars not stretching as far as they could. Also in the newsletter and on Primerica's website, we have been having a new focus called Where Does the Money Go? Right? And I think a lot of people are asking themselves that question right now. They're checking their pockets and being like, well, exactly where did this money go? Which is even more reason to make sure you set up a check-in with me. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention. Convenience spending. Because convenience spending has been quietly creeping up. Platforms like Amazon, DoorDash, Temu, or even TikTok, they've made it incredibly easy to spend more money without thinking. And during stressful times, we naturally just lean into convenience. But here's the catch. Convenience is designed to remove friction, not protect your finances. So what happens, right? It's not just one big purchase. It's a small pattern of frequent decisions. $20 here, $35 there, a subscription you forgot about, and then suddenly your cash flow feels tight. But you can't pinpoint why. If you're feeling out of control of your finances, implement a 24 to 48 hour window of time to push pause before we make a purchase. The whole point is to reduce the impulse spending, the late night scrolling. We are doing our best to reduce that. So instead of just cutting everything out, we're going to just get intentional. Here's a few quick resets that you can do if money is feeling really tight. Do a subscription audit. Don't just cancel everything, but take time to take stock of what are we actually using? What is actually bringing value to my life? Am I justifying this when in reality, maybe I could do something else rather than paying this monthly subscription fee? One thing that is highlighted in the newsletter for this quarter is that unused streaming service are ranked Fifth most common wasteful spending habit. So, like I was saying earlier, make sure you're checking on those subscriptions that you don't use or the things that are convenient for you to use but are actually making you spend more money than if you were to just go get it yourself. If you just get up and go to the store yourself, you'll probably save more money. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to that. Actually, during our check-in, I want to show you something really amazing that I made. The RV Money Coach Budget Builder. I'm very excited to show it to you, but one thing that I have created in this budget is something called your stability budget and something called your wealthy budget. The stability budget is just what I need to pay my bills on time, just to pay the minimums, just to get by for that month. But that wealthy budget is something when I have excess funds at the end of paying my bills, what am I actually doing with that money? This is money that we can turn around, pay more attention to, and is actually important so that you can feel in control of your finances. Most importantly, we're redirecting the money, because every dollar that you stop spending unconsciously is a dollar that you can use to build stability. Now let's look ahead. Here are the things that I want you to be prepared for as we go into quarter 2 of 2026. We're not waiting for things to get back to normal. This is the new normal, and where you just have to adjust, pivot, and keep going. Ongoing movement in the market is just a signal that the system is processing change, processing and being reactionary to news in real time. The thing that we want to implement is not allowing our emotions to swing with the headlines. Remember, headlines, policy change, global tensions, it all may feel chaotic at times, but just remember that noise does not equal danger. We need to practice regulating our nervous system, understanding when things are in our control versus out of our control, and what strategies and plans that we are going to implement to ride the wave throughout this chaotic time. Another thing that I want you to watch out for going into quarter 2 is rising gas prices. Along with gas prices, we can lump in there rising healthcare costs, rising utility bills such as gas and electric. We know that right now these costs are variable. They're going up and down. We don't really know how to predict, how to adjust our budget, because these costs are going kind of crazy right now, right? That makes it really hard for us to budget and plan for our finances. But because we know that gas, healthcare, lights on in the house are things that are essential, what I want to help you implement and practice, and another reason why I want you to set up a quarterly check-in with me, is because we can build a small buffer into your budget to address these increasing and variable costs. Particularly when it comes to your utility bill, if you have the option to go on budget billing, income assistance program, apply for that so that you can get the least amount that you have to pay monthly for your bill, and then the additional money that you may previously have been putting to that bill, let's utilize a strategy such as putting that money into a high yield savings account. That way we can have the money there if we need to get our hands on it, but we're paying the least amount and keeping our bills in a regulated space. Most important thing that we want to take away is predictability. So when it comes to things like your gas, filling up the same time every week, making sure that you're keeping things regimented, that we're not just free willy-nilly doing things whenever it comes up or whenever the need arises, that we are being consistent, that we are setting aside a certain amount every month, and then if we need extra, we can pull from that buffer space. Some other strategies that you can use, especially when it comes to gas prices and grocery shopping, is combine trips and be intentional about your travel and your shopping. So whether that is choosing one day a week or one day every other week that you are choosing to go to the grocery store, buying the things that you can in bulk, or if the strategy works better for you to go to the store every couple days and just get the meals that you need, having those 2 to 3 go-to meals that you know you can have, very important. Also, I want to emphasize, as a country, as we are preparing for uncertain times, Every time you go to the grocery store, I just want to encourage you to get small perishable items that you can just stockpile. If God forbid, and I'm not here to fearmonger, but if God forbid anything goes crazy and we have disruption in food, grocery stores are empty, you want to make sure that you are ahead of time preparing. I would recommend every time you go to the grocery store, maybe you get one extra can of something. But one small thing every time you go to the store can help you build up those reserves over time. And if it's possible, this is where community comes in, utilizing strategies like carpooling, shared errands, coordinated trips. You don't have to carry all these costs alone. Make sure that you are reaching out to others and don't try and self-isolate during this time. So this brings me to something that I believe is going to be more important than ever as a country, as a people. One thing that has become my latest obsession and something that I'm very excited about teaching my clients more about and just teaching more people in general more about is mutual aid, cooperative economics, and community support. So in uncertain economies, isolation is expensive, meaning trying to do everything your own, trying to bootstrap it yourself, trying to scrape by and get every coin that you can. Not only is it time consuming, it leads to burnout, it's degrading, and it's frustrating. However, community, when we are able to rely and come together as a community, community creates efficiency. So start simple by just reaching out to the people around you. For example, have you ever met your neighbors before? Do you know who they are? Have you ever gone over there, said hello to your neighbors? If you live close by your family or friends or other people, maybe it's even your chosen family, take time to reach out to them, ask them, hey, what do you need help with? What can I offer you? What can you offer me? It doesn't always have to look like monetary help. Maybe you don't have a car, but you know somebody who does have a car. So now y'all join together and do your grocery shopping one time a week. And both of you guys are going in with your list, you're meal prepping, and you're doing it together. Maybe you carpool to work with somebody who you work with rather than having to drive yourself, and now you're saving money on gas, right? Understand that when we are in times of great uncertainty, we are going to need to rely on each other, rely on other people. Because the truth is, we already have more resources around us than we utilize and then we realize. So if we are able to reach out, offer a helping hand, and sometimes you may be saying to yourself, well, what do I have? I don't have anything right now. I don't have anything to offer. Don't sell yourself short. As a matter of fact, I want you to actually change your language. You do have something to offer. In this quarter's newsletter is a did you know that's on the bottom of the last page. It says that more than 1 in 4 U.S. adults say they would need to make $150,000 or more per year to feel financially secure/comfortable. That is much different than the current average salary in the United States. According to 2026 numbers right now, is about $66,000 a year. So we're talking about more than double the amount. People usually need more than double the amount to feel financially secure and stable. That is a big gap to fill, and the importance of being able to review exactly what is the gap that I need to fill every month between how much I currently bring home and what is going to make me feel comfortable and stable and still have enough to save, invest, have fun, live life. So again, I want to emphasize, this is a time to get creative on finding new ways to bring in income and not just rely on one stream of income. You need to be able to come up with more than one way to put money in your pocket every month. It is pretty hard to find a part-time job or a side hustle or a gig that can double your income or replace your income for the year. So what that means is you're going to need more than one stream to fill in this gap that you need to make every month. And again, this is a very important reason that you and I sit down so we can figure out exactly what that number is. And not only that, but actually come up with a strategy and a plan on how we can close that gap and make additional income every month. Protect your cash flow, okay? You might have a job that you really don't like and you've been plotting on starting your own business or going to another job. I want you to hold on to it as long as you can. And listen, I am not one to tell you to stay in a miserable situation, but the truth of the matter is there are people waiting 6 to 8 months going through a interview and hiring process for a job only for them to ghost them at the end. So as long as you can hold on to this job and be able to utilize it to help you with stability while you're also building something on the side, please hear me when I say we can do two things at once. I want you to focus on protecting your income as much as possible and creating new streams of income wherever you can. And please know that if you are looking for additional ways to make money, My Financial Brokerage is always looking for remote agents. Everything that we do is remote. You can get trained, get licensed, get paid while you're in training. So please reach out to me if you are looking for other ways to make money or you need that extra couple $100s in your pocket every month. I got you. Another big one is stay consistent with your long-term plan. Stick to the plan that you have. Stick to the plan that we already created. If you are not already investing, let me tell you, this is a great time to get started, okay? Why? Because everything's on sale right now. When the market is down, that means things are on sale, okay? So, but most importantly, if you have like a Roth IRA, for example, keep contributing to your Roth IRA. Don't switch it up. Even if you'd say, okay, Jasmine, right now I need to focus on paying down debt or I need to focus on building up my emergency savings, okay, maybe you bring it down to contributing instead of $100 a month, $50 a month. As long as you are contributing something, I just want to emphasize this is not the time to get spooked and try and take all your money out the market because you think everything is crashing and burning. This is the time to stick with your long-term plan and strategy. Another thing that is highlighted in the newsletter for this quarter is how $100 a month can grow, and it looks at a couple different interest rates. And I want to emphasize to you guys that small beginnings do pay off. It might seem like, what is $25 going to do? What is $50 going to do? What is $100 going to do? These are small beginnings, but compounded over time at the right interest rate, that could be the beginning of your retirement fund, your dream project fund, your financial freedom fund. So please don't negate or neglect small beginnings and just get started where you can afford to start. And if you are someone who is at the age approaching retirement, or let's say you do have a lump sum of money that's already invested and you're worried about protecting your retirement or protecting a large lump sum that's already in the market and is exposed to these big swings, this is another reason to set up a check-in with me, because depending on who you are, your time horizon, and your needs, we can set up protection on your investment, for example, an annuity. But again, this is dependent on who you are, your time, right? So that's why you need to set up a check-in with me. But just know, I want you to stay consistent and ignore the noise. Lastly, I want you in this next quarter to really focus on building support system and not just savings. So is it important to build savings? Yes, especially during this time. If you don't have emergency savings, this needs to be your highest priority. Everybody has heard of 3 to 6 months of savings. This needs to be your goal right now. If you don't have 3 to 6 months in savings, which I'll say statistically, 50% of America cannot get their hands on $1,000. If you fall into that 50%, let's focus on getting your savings to at least $1,000, right? If $1,000 is too high of a goal, let's set it at $500. Right? Give us some baby incremental goals until we can get to a nice, healthy emergency savings. This is going to be very important during these times. But I also want to encourage you to focus on other support systems other than just a savings account. And like I said earlier, I really want to encourage you to reach out to your community. Who are the people who you feel like you can rely on if times were hard, end of the line, I need to reach out to somebody? Who are those people for you? Making sure that you're establishing good connections with them of mutual support. Not just reaching with a hand out and saying, what can you do for me? But also asking them, what can I do to help you? Another thing that is highlighted in the newsletter this quarter is checking on what is your money attitude. So it has a list there, column A and column B, for you to check off which one of these more matches your current attitude when it comes to money. And although this seems like something that's like small or it doesn't really matter, this definitely matters, guys, because if your mindset is a poverty mindset, or if your mindset is I'm broke, I'm struggling, I don't see a way out, I'm feeling helpless or powerless, this will reflect in how you handle your finances. So take time to actually sit back and reflect, how do I actually feel about my finances right now? What is the thought that I'm repeating in my mind most frequently right now? And again, let's take time to address it. Let's not just pretend like all of this isn't happening. We know that the economy is doing what it's doing right now, so things feel off. It's not just you. It's not a you problem. It's not something you're doing wrong. But if you try to pretend like that's not a reality, or pretend like, oh, it's just me struggling, or why can't I get it right? Again, that is what is going to show up in your habits, and what's going to show up when we address things like budgeting or goals or whatever it is when it comes to your finances. So take time to address it, acknowledge it, and create a plan to change that. And again, this is something that you and I can work on together. The benefit of having a money coach, I'm not just an insurance agent who's just going to be like, okay, you got your insurance, see ya, good luck. No, this is a working relationship where I am coaching you to have better money habits. So let's work together to do that. Last thing, guys, I want to leave you with this. This is not a time to panic, okay? This is a time to get clear, get disciplined, and get supported. That's exactly what we do together. So if you haven't already, make sure that you take a moment and schedule your quarterly check-in with me. Let's sit down, let's look at your numbers, let's adjust your strategy if needed, and make sure that you are positioned to move forward with confidence. No matter what's happening around you, you know that you have a financial plan to weather this storm and to get through anything. So I love you guys. Whether you schedule a check-in or not, please reach out to me, give me a call, give me a text. Would love to just hear from you, know that you are doing well. Other than that, thank you for watching this video, and hope that you have a great next quarter. See you soon. Bye.